Hey, good morning, everyone. Hey, it's your boy Philochko here. You know that American dude with the incredible mood? No. This is my first time making a video like this on this channel. You know, with waking up in the morning, using my cell phone, and still wearing my hat. You know, sometimes I do sleep in my hat. You know, EHC. I sleep in my hat, but I have to address or talk about the last video I made because I've never gotten a video with so many dislikes. When I looked at it, I mean, it has a lot of views, but it has a lot of dislikes, and I think people don't understand what made that video funny to me, and I'll explain it, okay? I'll explain the story. So yesterday, actually the day before yesterday, I was planning on I was talking to my friend about how they make Russian people sound in movies in America. Because I watched the movie Uncle. It was a good movie, but the way they make the Russian guy talk in the movie, I was like, Russians don't really talk like that. You know, like maybe 1 out of every 50 Russian men, that's 2% of the population who try to speak English actually talk like that. I'm like, do they not know what Russians sound like when they speak English? Like, why? I didn't understand it. And it's not just that movie. It's almost every American movie. Oh, and if you guys saw House, if you watch House and you watch House in English, you would hear House's wife, the lady he married because she wanted to stay in America. Her accent was really, really bad. It was really, really bad. It was a terrible Russian accent. And I'm like, Russians don't talk like that. You know, that's what I realized. So just 2 days ago, actually not yesterday. Yesterday, I released a video. 2 days ago, I spoke to my friend Andre, and I'm like, I have to make a video about this because Russians don't really speak like that. Out of nowhere, yesterday morning, right before I released the video, I get a text from my friend Tony on WhatsApp, and he sends me that audio. I immediately thought it was an act. I thought it wasn't real. I'm like, oh, dude, what is this? Like, who did this? Is this real? He goes, that's real. That was me talking to a realtor who works for a company in which, you know, where they have to speak English because it's America. When you have certain jobs and people call in looking for apartments, of course you have to speak English because it's America, depending on your job. I'm not saying she needs to know English because she's in America, because there's many Russians who are in America who don't know English, and that's okay. They just stay in Brighton Beach, they speak with Russian people, that's fine. She has a job in which people of all different kinds in America call her, in which she needs to speak English. Now, her English is not bad, actually. Her vocabulary wasn't that bad. It was just her accent was just so strong. So let me explain why this is funny. I live in Russia, right? The jobs I have in Russia, I only have to speak English. But let's pretend something's wrong with your cell phone. Something's wrong with your cell phone. And you call, I answer the phone. And in Russian, you're like, hey, something's wrong with my phone. And I say, что проблем? And you're like, it's not working anymore. What should I do? Te надо. Te надо купить новый телефончик. You're going to be laughing or angry because that's not what you expect to hear when you're calling a business. It's about business. That's what made that funny. The business hired this lady to speak to people in English when her accent is that bad. I would do the same exact thing if that was an English teacher. If that was not a beginner. Beginners can have accents. That's okay. Beginning level English teachers can have accents. It doesn't even matter. But let's say she was an intermediate or an expert or advanced level English teacher. With that accent, I'd be laughing. And I'd be like, come on, miss. I don't know who lied to you, but you stole this job. You know what I mean? Like, this isn't for you. You go to the beginner level, or you could do something else. So basically, I'm just making this video to explain why that last video is funny. You know, if you don't find it funny, that's okay. But a lot of people are like, shame on you, shame on you. Man, there's standards to everything. If I wasn't good at teaching English, you should make fun of me too. I'm sure I make mistakes. Sometimes I spell things wrong. If you make fun of me, I earn it because I spelled it wrong. But I have terrible Russian. That's exactly why I will never take a job in which I have to speak Russian, because there will be YouTube videos about me. Do you see the difference? Now, a lot of people say, what do other people say? That, you know, she was, no, she's kind of an older lady. The picture in the video is not her. That's not her. The picture of the guy in the video is not him. The picture of his wife, those are different pictures. That's not her. I hid their identities, and I'm leaving it up to themselves to reveal themselves if they want. When he asked what's her name, I censored it. You don't hear her name. No one knows who she is. No one knows where she works. You don't know. That's the point. I didn't reveal this lady's identity so people could laugh at her and send her messages. No. I left her identity hidden. You understand? So I don't want people to think I'm a mean person. It's not because she had an accent. That's okay. If you have a terrible accent, that's okay. But if you have a terrible accent, stay out of jobs in which you need to speak English, because I'm going to laugh at you. If you have a job, especially in America, which requires you to speak English, I'm going to laugh at you if your accent's terrible. That's why I will never take a job in Russia in which I have to speak Russian. Why? Because people, whenever I speak Russian at all, people laugh. And you know, that's fine. I'm used to it. That's why I don't speak Russian now, because people always laugh at me. So there's only a few things I ever say in Russian. What do I say? I say, Kanyechna, people laugh. I say, Bozhe moi, blinchiki, people laugh. And I'm like, all right, whatever. I don't get mad. I'm like, you're a bad person. It sounds funny to you. You laugh, whatever. But I wouldn't take a job speaking Russian because people laugh at me. Каждый день, целый день. You understand? I'm asking for laughter. I'm asking to be a comedian, kind of. You understand? So I just wanted to clear that up so you guys understand why I laughed. So if you're someone out there with a bad accent, don't be ashamed. Work on the accent. But don't work at a job in which you need English until your accent is somewhere acceptable. If we have that in America too, not just with Russians. What we have in America is we have a lot of these companies who, how do I explain it simply? They hire a lot of people from India to do customer service. And I don't know, it's becoming more popular and popular. So let's say something's wrong with my cell phone, whatever. I like saying cell phone because I'm using a cell phone. Let's say something's wrong with my cell phone. I call the company and I say, hey, hi, something's wrong with my cell phone. I need some help. Are you sure you need the help? And it's like, oh God, you know. And it's not that we hate Indian people, and it's not that we hate the Indian accent. It's just when you have these jobs in which you need to speak English, we expect to hear someone who has decent English. That's what's funny. So when we always hear these people with these heavy Indian accents, when we call customer service, it makes us laugh. And we can understand them sometimes, sure. But sometimes it's just like, dude, I don't understand you. Can I please have someone else? And it's not just India, it's many other countries. But the most popular example I could give you is with India, because that happens a lot with our customer service. So, that's just me trying to explain it to you guys. You guys know I'm not an asshole. I'm not an asshole, but there's standards to everything. There's standards to everything, especially in the workplace. You know, if I'm calling a company in America because I need to talk to this company about getting an apartment, I don't expect to hear that lady. And if I hear that lady, I'm like, can I have someone else? Like, can I please have someone else who I can fully understand? Because if I wasn't in Russia so long, I wouldn't have known what straf was. So she goes, you're going to have to pay straf. I'm like, miss, what the fuck is straf? You understand? I should have to go through that in America at an American business. This isn't a lady in America that I'm trying to talk to in the street. If I tried to talk to her in the street and she didn't speak English, I go to the next person. But I'm calling a company, a business in America, and I'm expecting to hear someone who can speak to me. That's the difference, okay? So I'm not saying if you're in America, you have to speak English. No, you don't. There's many women, or not just women, just people in general from many countries who don't speak English in America. I'm used to it. We're all used to that. But we don't want any of them having jobs in which they need to speak English because it doesn't make sense, all right? That's like me having a job. It calls Talk to a Russian Guy. In America, it's called Talk to a Russian Guy. You call and I'm like, Здравствуйте, я русский парень. Come on. You understand why it's funny now? Or at least why I laughed. Maybe you don't find it funny, but that's why I laughed. And that's basically it, guys. A new video later today. I'm gonna try to make one video all in November. Next video is probably gonna be 1,000 phrasal verbs. Yeah, I'm gonna continue the 1,000 phrasal verbs. Then after that, I guess, I don't know, maybe there's another, a warning about America. A warning about going to America. There's a little trick that a lot of mostly women fall for. I don't know if I ever made the video on this channel because I have a number of channels, but I'm going to make it because I think it's important. Now, of course, I love America and stuff, but there's some dangers, and I'll teach you. Just like when I came to Russia, some of you taught me the dangers, like gulpniks and shit. It was my turn, all right? I'll make that video maybe today or tomorrow. And that's basically it, guys. I'm out. What did I used to say? Oh, I hope you liked it. Hope you enjoyed it. Blah blah blah. See you guys.